Welcome to the Gyrl podcast, everyone. I'm Miranda Mitchell, and thank you all for joining. Hope everyone is doing well. I hope you're having a great week. Also, today I'm so excited to have Miranda Mitchell join the show. Miranda is an energetic alignment coach and human design specialist. So we are talking all about human design and how you can get your human design framework so that you can better understand your unique strengths and abilities, and also how you can go out and use that into the world. So Miranda helps leaders step into higher potential of their creative power so that they can create more impact with sustainability and ease through that lens of human design and their own unique chart. So as you all know, we have talked about here on this show before how much your girl loves assessments. So I am overjoyed to have this discussion with her. And you know that I'm going to probably be getting a chart myself after we have this discussion. So stay tuned, everyone. I'll be right back with Miranda. Welcome back to the Gyrl podcast. I'm Kyra. All right, now I am back and ready to have a discussion about human design with Miranda. So welcome, Miranda, to the Gyrl podcast.
Thank you so much. So happy to be here.
Awesome. Well, let's go ahead and dive in because this is a topic that I am very interested in. So before we get into all things human design, why don't you tell everyone out there who you are and what you do?
Thank you. So I'm Miranda Mitchell, and I'm an energetic alignment coach and human design and gene keys specialist. So I really work with people in reconnecting to who they are so that they're living a life authentically in their highest vibration.
Awesome. I love that. Okay. So as I mentioned right before we started recording that, I like personality assessments. So I'm definitely now, first question is, let's talk about the difference between what human design is and how does it differ from like your everyday standard personality assessment?
I love this question because I've done a lot of reflection on this, because I too love personality assessments and horoscopes and all of that. So I was always into that. The difference really is the conditioning aspect. And what I mean by that is, so when you enter in your birth date, birth time, and birthplace, you receive this human design chart. So what this represents is it represents your energy and who you are authentically, your life themes, your purpose, the energy you're here to be. It represents that at the time of your birth. So the difference I feel is the other personality tests, I've done them, and I feel like because of the way I grew up, my experiences, my beliefs, my limiting beliefs, it affects how I choose those answers. Whereas human design is a blueprint of when you were born. So of course, it's like the minute you were born, and of course you have experiences, you have beliefs created through life. But as an adult, if you look back at your chart, you get to see what energy is truly you. So you're able to release whatever beliefs and experiences that you've created and lived your life around for your entire life, so that you can step into kind of like who you were originally, the time of birth.
Oh, and that's a really interesting, because it's like that what you said is like it's so loaded, like, because you think about it, right? When you're born, you're like your most authentic version of yourself. And so and everyone knows me by now that listens or watches this podcast that like I do talk things. I like to talk things out. So I am like literally just like dissecting, what you just said, and relating it, because it is so true that like as we grow and we learn from our parents, we learn from, friends, family. And like you said, you pick up like limiting beliefs of like who you think you are versus who you were meant to be. And so those personality and all like personality assessments are just looking at you in the now.
Right.
So if you're a person that is if you're in a place in your life at that moment where you may not be living in your truest self, and you do have limiting beliefs that are like holding you back, then you're going to get a totally different, like assessment versus like the true version of who you were called to be.
Exactly. Yes.
That is powerful. So, why do you feel the human design is such a powerful tool for personal growth?
Well, I personally feel like it's a powerful tool because it lets us tangibly see who we truly are. As far as like, if you look at the chart, there's different shapes in the chart, and these shapes represent energies. So when there is color in the chart, like red, yellow, black, tan, it means that there's consistent energy here. So that means that's the energy that you actually put out into the world. And then where there's white areas, that's actually where you receive energy. Okay. So just that alone can help you release beliefs and conditioning that you've had throughout your life. And I can give an example. The G center, which is in the center, it is a diamond shape. I have that undefined, which means it's white, it's open. So that means this stands for love, direction, and identity. So since mine is undefined, that means any person that I was around in that environment, I was taking in that energy and believing that it was me. So I would always question myself, why do I act a different way around this person? Why do I act that way around this person? Why do I morph myself into a different person when I'm dating someone? Well, it's because I was taking in that energy. It wasn't true to me. It wasn't authentic. So there was a lot of pain as far as loving myself, definitely. Direction, where I was going, identity. I didn't know who I was. I felt like, how can I change? I don't matter. But when I realized it's because I was taking that energy in, I was able to be like, all those decisions I made, it wasn't me. It wasn't me making those choices or acting that way. It's because I was unaware of who I truly am. And I was taking that energy in. And I think I went on a little tangent there.
No.
So, did I answer your question?
No, I appreciate that, because I did want to get like some examples, just so people who may be saying like, well, what does that chart look like? What is that framework? But I agree with you, because that is so true. People do that all the time. I mean, when they're in friendships, relationships, even working environments, right? So I think an example is a lot of times people will have a manager and they will think that they have to be similar to that manager or in that style. So they absorb either like that energy, or if that manager has bad, if that manager's like, well, I'm this type of person. I'll give you, okay, here's an even better example. Okay. It just came to me. Here's even better example. So at my previous job, they did these assessments. Now, while I do love assessments, there are a lot of them that I dislike. And this one is one that I dislike. It's called Insights Discovery. It reminds me of DISC. But there are these four colors that you can be. So you can be red, which is like, it's an extrovert, but it's also someone who's like, be brief, be bold, be bright. And then there's blue, who is like an introvert, but they're like analytics. So they're like, just getting like, give me the data. I need the information. And then there are yellow. There's yellow, which is like a sunshine yellow, they call it. These are people who are like, involve me. They're extroverts, of course. They want to be in the know. And then there are green, who is like all about harmony, and it's introvert. So the going around the office was that you had to be a red and a blue, some combination of red, blue, blue, red, in order for you to be like somebody, to be successful, to move up inside of leadership. And so that was like, this was painted, and this was the assumption, and that was being told. And everybody, so I'm in marketing. And so I work, like, obviously it's a group of creative people, and a lot of designers were falling in that, like, either green, they were either like the green, a lot of them led with green and they had like blue for the data, or a lot of them were like green, yellow. And so then, like, with more of like the leadership level of marketing, I was what the lady called like an anomaly, because I was like yellow blue, which she was like, we've never really seen that combination. So, it was still like it was extrovert, introvert, but it was like the creative and the data together. And so I was like, cool. I mean, whatever. I mean, I was like, that's cool. That doesn't define me, but it is also pretty cool because I do see myself as like being very creative, but also being like driven by like numbers and data. But at the same time, I'm like, that's just an assessment. It doesn't tell me who I am in this organization. But it became like a horrible thing. People hated it. There were people starting to take on like traits from what they thought they were supposed to be. One lady, like, actually in another team, went and took the test again and tricked the system so that she could, because she was yellow green, and she tricked the system so that she was red blue. And then she came over and kept gloating to people in my department about it. And one day, there's one guy like lost his stuff and like just went off on her about it. And I was just like, see, this is like the exact thing, that the energies that you don't want.
Yeah. And that's honestly making people feel like they're not good enough for who they are.
Exactly.
Pretend to be something else.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes. Because she very much was what the yellow green, and she was a leader, and there was nothing wrong with like who she was, but just because she'd heard, because all the leaders blocks looked like this. And I was just like, first of all, like, I don't really want to be like them. I mean, do you really want to be like these people who lead with red and blue? Because they're actually, some of them are like not that nice. A lot of those people are like rude. A lot of those people, are not people who I would want to model my behavior after. So I think, like, it's so very like true. So that's why, like, for me personally, like when I'm looking at like assessments, I'm looking at ones that actually like celebrate people. Like, I love strength finders, like high five, like fascinated advantage, like all the things that help people to become the best versions of themselves, and not ones that look to tear people down because you don't have like traits like other people.
And honestly, with human design too, I will say, like, we have contraindications, or we have conundrums in our chart, like every single one of us. So we have, I mean, I don't like to say strengths and weaknesses, but we definitely have themes that we're here to learn about, right? Mm-hmm. And that's just part of what we're here to learn about. It doesn't mean, like, for example, my sun. So the sun in your chart represents the energy that you're actually here to be. So when you're talking about purpose in human design, it's not about what you do. It's who you be while you're doing it. So you can be doing anything as long as you're being that energy. And then if we were all being our energy, then humanity would thrive because our vibration would be high, because we would love ourselves and accept ourselves. But there's a lower expression and a high expression. So in my low expression, it's all about inadequacy. So I have felt inadequate my entire life. I had certification. I had to be on Dean's list, like, to prove. Yes. So everything in our chart, there's a low vibration and there's a high vibration. There's nothing wrong with us if we're in the low vibration. I used to think, why am I so inadequate? Why do I feel this way? There's something wrong with me. I have to fix myself. When I saw that it's in my chart, it's like, oh, that's what I'm here to learn about. I'm here to learn through inadequacy, move through it, and then become a higher version. So it's not about pushing away our shadows, pushing away what we feel like we have to work on. It's about accepting it, working through it, and then becoming a higher vibration. So you love yourself for those things as well.
That makes so much sense. Because I think, and I think people need to hear that, and they need to hear that at a young age. That's why I love this human design work, because people need to grow up hearing that you are this is what you're meant to be. This is who you are. And like you said, there are going to be like opportunity areas. There are going to be places where we want to continue to learn and grow, and be better. But it's just like I can't agree more than what you said. Like if we all did this and we all studied this and had these frameworks, like the world and people, we would just be in such a better place.
Yeah. And it all starts internally. So I fully feel if you do your internal work, learn about yourself, learn, like Saturn in here really is about what you're here to learn about in this life, you know? So like completing things is a lot of things what I'm here to learn about. So as you go into your chart, it's really interesting because you start to realize things about yourself that you always knew, but you didn't know you knew. Like when things come, you're like, oh my gosh, that is so true. But I didn't know that. It's almost like an opening of the DNA. Like you just know when you hear it. So, and then once you're able to accept that and kind of put yourself out there in a way that feels good, because like you mentioned, being creative. And also, you know, the opposites are wonderful. Creativity is actually where the world is moving towards. We need to be creative. And a lot of people have this emotional wave. Like if you have an emotional authority, what that means is you have an emotional wave. And so many people that I've worked with, they feel seen for the first time because they think something's wrong with them when they have a low or when they have a high, or why do I feel this way? I have to get out of this funk. But if you have an emotional wave, it's part of who you are, and you get to celebrate that and be like, you know what? Right now, I want to hermit away. I don't feel like dealing with people. I'm in my emotional wave. I get to be creative and read. I get to accept myself. And then when I feel high on my emotional wave, I'll go out and network. So you let go of all the shoulds, really.
Yes. Yeah, I think that's definitely important, because a lot of times I think people just think like, because, and of course, you know, when they think about like, oh, people are like, you must be an extrovert because you're like, and it's like, yeah, I think I'm sociable, but I also really enjoy like being by myself. I enjoy quiet time. I have to refuel. Like I can't be on like all the time. Like I can do it, you know, like there are days at work where I have like a ton of meetings, and like by the end, I'm just drained. I'm like, okay, like I need to refuel. I need to go sit down somewhere and be quiet and just like play with my puppy, you know, not like even just, I could be sitting with my husband and not even like talking, because I just need like to like fill myself back up and have like that time by myself. And I just think like it is a lot of like people, when people don't understand that, and I think a tool like this can help, because when people don't understand other people, they just make assumptions and they put you in a box of, oh yeah, well, she has this personality, so I'm thinking she's going to be on all the time. And it's like, yeah, I don't want to be on all the time.
And that might be that's your profile. So it sounds like a 2-4, but we'd have to see. So like the 2, I'm a 2-4. I'm a 2-4 manifesting generator. So what that means is the 2 is all about hermiting away, being by yourself, integrating, digesting, like letting things integrate and release. The 4 is the extrovert. It's like networking and being drawn out. So it's the opposite. I need to hermit away and be by myself. And then people call me out to draw me out into networking. And that's the beautiful thing. Whereas before, I was just in the 4, always out and about. And I never let myself be by myself because I thought like something was wrong with me. Why do I need so much time and space? But now it's like, oh, you know what? I feel like hermiting away. So I'm not seeing anyone. I'm just reading and I'm journaling and doing whatever I want today.
Yeah. And I definitely think that the hermiting away from me since the pandemic has definitely gotten stronger, because I like, yeah, I'm good. Like, no, I don't necessarily want to hang out, you know, like I really enjoy like this time, like by my, you know, at home, like being able to read and just and working, coming up with ideas and things like that. And just not needing so much of like that people interaction. Like, I get people interaction when I'm recording, when I'm meeting new people, I get it at work. Cause yeah, it might be a Zoom, but it's still interaction and it's still like getting energy, from people. But like, I'm pretty okay with, like the not, I'm gonna give an example that just actually happened this morning. So like my dad is in town and he's like visiting with my aunt and my grandmother. And so I was like, okay, well, after I finish recordings today, I'm gonna go over there. But then like on the inside, I was like, oh man, that means like I gotta get gas in the truck. I gotta put on like real clothes today. Like I can't just put on the top for recording. I gotta put on shoes. Like and I was like, oh man, I gotta leave my puppy for a while and just all these like, things. But I told myself, because I put it off now for like 2 weeks, 2 weekends. And I was just like, nope, gotta do it this weekend because you only got like 2 more weekends. And so I text my dad and he was like, oh yeah, well actually I was just gonna come by and see you like once your grandmother get up and I help with mom, then I was gonna come over there. And I was like, oh, yes. Yes. And so I like ran upstairs and I told my husband, I was like, I don't have to go anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's funny because when you were explaining that was like obligation, right? You're like, oh, you weren't inspired to do it. So, and you felt that. And then that's funny that he responded that way. So that's the energy working for you.
Yeah. Cause it was like, I knew like, I knew like once I got there, I would have a good time, but it was just like the anxiety of like the having to do all the things to get there. And I was just like, oh man. And I was looking at my puppy and I was like, it's like I have to travel for work next week. So I already have to leave him. So I didn't, I just felt like I don't want to have too many gaps. And where's mom, but yeah, so I'm so glad that worked out. Anywho. Okay. So I can imagine, let's talk about how human design can help people like become clear in decision making. Because I can imagine this is a powerful tool to help you make decisions.
Yeah. So there's 5 energy types. Okay. So each one of the types has a different way of decision making that is best aligned for them so that they have ease. So really most of us want ease in our life, right? The thing is we're all caught up in our mind. So we make decisions based out of planning or deciding in our mind. So human design is more about reconnecting to the body because the body knows. And just like that example that you just explained, like you knew in your gut that you're like, oh, I really don't want to do this. But your mind is saying, okay, I have to do this. But your body's like, I don't want to. So it's really about trusting and start following the signals in the body. I mean, think about it. We get goosebumps, our hair stands up, our body shows us the signs, but we always choose with the mind. So within these 5 types, it's about listening to how the body feels, not the mind. So you have the manifesting generator and the generator. So these two we combine a lot. They're very different because the manifesting generator, I'm a manifesting generator. We're very fast. We like to skip steps. We do many things at a time. We have many lifetimes in our life. We like, constantly doing things. We love to be inspired. Now the generator too loves to work. So the manifesting generator love to work. And when we're inspired, we're going to work forever. This is what we're here to do. Be of service, create physical things in the physical form, make connections in the physical form. That's what we're here to do. And that's how we feel good. So because it's in the physical form, generator types are really here to respond to things in the physical form, meaning you have an idea. Oh, you know what? I think I want to create this new program, or I think I want to create a certification. You don't just have the idea and create it. You have the idea. And then you wait for things to show up to you as signs. Is this right for you? And then you notice how your body feels. So I had this happen with my business partner. She came to me and said, hey, you know what? I think we should do a certification. And it was like, no, it was no holding back. I was like, yes, this is it. I'd never thought about it before, but I was responding. So generator types respond to things in the physical form to show up for them. And that's how you make the best aligned decisions, not thinking and then initiating. Then there's the projector. The projector makes up about 20% of society. They have a lot of open areas. So they actually kind of like the managerial type. So what that means is they see things and guide generator types. So basically they need to work less. They kind of guide us in what for us to do. So like projectors will have these beautiful ideas. They will see like the energy of what can be done, and then they'll guide us generator types. Their strategy is wait to be invited. So a lot of people struggle with this with a projector because projectors, they need to rest a lot, but they're really trying to be seen and heard. So they're initiating a lot. So they burn out their energy. And if they just sat back, took care of themselves, then they would receive the invitations where they can then say yes or no, this is for me. The manifester is what we feel like we all are, especially as entrepreneurs. We get an idea and we go do it. That's a manifester. They only make up 9% of society. So they actually receive the idea, they get to initiate and start it. But a lot of the time, we generator types finish it. They're here to start things, not always finish. So it's okay as a manifestor to start a beautiful idea and then be like, oh, you know what? That no longer inspires me anymore. You guys go finish this. I'm on to starting new things. Right? And then the last one is the reflector, which is 1%. What that means is every single center, so everything, single shape in the chart is undefined, meaning they receive all the energies. So they're kind of like a mirror. So a mirror to their environment. So if they're not thriving, if they're not happy, that means the environment that they're in is not happy. So if you can see, we kind of all work together. Generator types create physical form, do all the work. Projectors see the bigger picture, guide. Manifestors initiate the things, and reflectors show us if we're in alignment.
Okay, I like that. That's very interesting. And which did you say was the largest of the population? Would you?
The combination of the generator type. So the generator itself is 37%. The manifesting generator is 33%.
Okay.
Projectors are 20%. Manifestors are 9%. And then the reflectors are 1%.
Okay, interesting. I love that. Ooh, really, yeah. I'm definitely interested in this and getting this framework.
Okay. I wanted to ask you, have you done your chart?
I have not.
Okay.
No. So yeah, I'm over here like, saying like, I need to get this. I need to get this.
Yeah. Let's see what type.
All right. So let's talk about, how does human design and knowing, where you fit in your chart help with business and personal relationships?
There's so much here. And I want to just touch base. There's so much in human design. So a lot of people get overwhelmed. It's a layering effect. Okay. So first you learn your type and strategy. You start to implement that before going into all the information, because a lot of people just want the info, but that's all brain. It's not integrating into your body. So it's about type and strategy, then the centers, then the channels and the gates and all of that. And then the astrology aspects. There's many layers. Okay. So a lot of people get overwhelmed, but if you do it by step and start practicing it, then it becomes easier because it's a process. So how it really works in the business, I will say with everything I just said about the 5 types, it can really help you by knowing what type each person is, because then you can see where they're going to thrive. Manifesting generator and generators, they love to work, but they have to be inspired. If they're not inspired by their work, they may get down, depressed, depleted, not have energy. Really, we have energy. So if we don't have energy, something's off.
Right.
Projectors are here to guide, but not work a lot. So projector, if you have a projector on your team or a projector in the business, they oversee things. They're not here to work 9-to-5 jobs. They actually need a lot of self-care. And I mean, letting them do that, they'll feel seen and heard. They won't feel bitter, which is the not self theme. The manifestors love to initiate, so they get to start things. So you can see how really we're all here to work together. And if we're able to be in the energy of who we are, we all get to thrive. So business thrives. We feel seen and heard. We feel like we don't have to prove, we don't have to be like someone else. We get to be ourselves, and then everyone is happy. So then business thrives. And as you're creating your business, it's a beautiful thing, because like I mentioned, I have a business partner where we started a certification. We're both 2-4 manifesting generators. So we know we're fast. We know we like to work. We know like hermit. We also know we like to hide away, be networking. But our charts, even though we're the same, is so different. She needs more time and space hermiting. I need more time networking. So as you learn about yourself, you see where you thrive and what you need to feel good, to be inspired, and to be doing what you're here to do.
I like it. I like that a lot. And I love too that it is important to know the types of the people who are either your business partners or on your team, or even like I would say like in a personal relationship, like to understand like if you have your significant other, your partner, spouse, like to understand like even what is their type, so that you know how to work together, as a team. And like that person, when that person is going to need, because like you said, being a 2-4 and being someone that like has to have that time to like go away and sort of be by yourself. I think that's important for, like partners to know, because people will have this, like you said, this notion that, well, this is so-and-so's personality. They're going to always be like this. But really, like, you need to like come in, because like, I know a lot of times, because I am the person that's at home all the time and I work here and I'm here all the time. My husband goes out, every day. So he comes back, and I look at it now, because it used to be me when I was going into office every day. When I would come home, I would go upstairs, and I just needed like about 30-35 minutes, like upstairs in the bedroom, like just if I was just sitting on like in the bathroom, if I was looking at my phone, if I was lying on the bed, like just that time to come down and like just get back centered and focused on like, okay, I'm out of traffic, I'm out of work, now I'm home, like, and now, and I think for a while I'd sort of forgotten that, because I've been home for so long. So when he would come in, he goes upstairs and I'm like, dude, like it's been like 40 minutes. What are you doing up there? And then I had to think about it. I was like, oh, well, remember you used to do that too when you went out every day. So like, he needs that time too to like decompress and like get back centered.
Yeah. And there's even, you're touching on a lot of aspects. So in relationships, it really helps because there's electromagnetics in relationships. So I know we haven't talked about like hanging gates and all of that, but if you look at the chart, there's kind of like these half gates that look like they aren't connected. When they connect, it's called a channel. So in relationships, a lot of the times what happens is, well, one person will have a hanging gate and the other person will have the opposite. So what happens is the channel connects. So that's like an attraction field. That's what we're attracted to, because it will give us consistent energy. And it's wonderful because that's what we're attracted to. But what happens a lot of the times is, and I don't know if you've experienced this, I experienced this with my husband. It was what I was attracted to, but then after it drives me crazy, because it's like, okay, now we're butting heads in this area. And it's because I have one side, he has the opposite. So what we do is we're like, agree to disagree. You're not going to like help make me feel this way about this certain thing. So it really helps as far as that. And also noticing sometimes a lot of people have relationships that could be toxic, and like, why am I having the same relationship over and over with different people? It's because of those gates. So they attract. So then you start to realize that, and you can start to move away towards that attraction field in the initial beginning. So you can consciously choose your relationships. Also, I just also want to say the last thing about the relationships is knowing their chart and knowing those electromagnetics gives you the permission to be yourself. So in the beginning, my husband would be like, why do you need so much time alone? Like something, she doesn't love me. She doesn't want to be with me. Now that he knows, and we've talked about this, he's like, oh, she just needs her space. It has nothing to do with me. She needs a lot of space by herself. So he is giving me the permission. I don't need permission, but he's given me that, okay, she needs her space. He doesn't think it's about him. There's no arguments about it because he understands it's my energy. So it really helps with relationships and children. Oh my goodness. Like with my daughter, I've made 2 major decisions for her based on her chart, and it's life-changing for her that I would have never made unless I knew her chart.
Okay. Awesome. I like that. That's some really good, some great insight. And just feels like you said, so many layers and like that and I love that you started, starting early with your child and being able to give her that tool and for you to be able to like use the chart to help her. And then as she gets older and understands it herself, like how awesome is that going to be for her to have that tool in life so early?
Yes.
Like,
Especially there's the open throat. So if the throat center is white, a lot of people, everyone I've talked to, they're like, I don't feel seen and heard. I feel like people don't listen. I feel like my voice doesn't matter. And that's because when you have an open throat, you have variability in the throat. So a lot of people actually, honestly, don't hear you unless they're looking at you. My daughter has an open throat. She would scream above everybody to be seen and heard, and no one would hear her. No, everyone would just like brush her off. So I realized she had an open throat. So now I consciously make sure that she is seen and heard when we talk. But when she's talking to her friends, she has now said, you know what? It's okay. She didn't hear me or didn't listen to me. She doesn't know I have an open throat. So what that means is she's not creating that belief. I'm not seen, heard, or loved. So I'm helping her with that belief and knowing people need to look at you, ask a question, be aware that you're talking to be heard. It doesn't mean that they don't care.
Yeah.
That's a huge thing for her.
Awesome. I love that. Okay. So you have given us a lot of great information today, and there are probably going to be a lot of people out there wondering like, okay, so I'm interested. So tell us about some of the ways that you work with people and how the audience can work with you.
Yeah, thank you. There's a couple different ways. So if you want to get your chart, I do run the chart for free. And I also send a short video on your type. So then that way you can understand what it means and how to implement. So you can find that at miranda-mitchell.com. And also I have mentioned my business partner. We launched a certification this year at Aligned Living Academy. Annalena and I have done this because we feel like human design is really a great tool in authenticity and raising the vibration of ourselves and the people that we're around, as well as the planet. So we've created the certification for entrepreneurs, coaches, professionals who want to learn human design and bring it into their container. Because what was happening is we were being called into their containers, but there's only 2 of us. And we want to create more impact and actually create global impact where people are really loving themselves and putting their energy out in a way that feels good. So there's also the certification at Aligned Living Academy. And I also have Instagram and all that, but I'm sure they'll be in the show notes, correct?
Yes, correct. Awesome. Okay, so thank you so much. That was great information. Everybody who is listening and watching, head on over to Miranda's website, and it's free, guys. Like, take it, do it. Learn how to apply it. People contact you, like once they have actually gone through the process, if they want to, like, I guess, have deeper like coaching or something. Is that an opportunity as well?
Yeah. So what I do is I'll send you the chart. Usually the first step I'll do is a foundational reading, and I'll send you the info on how to schedule that and the pricing and all that within there. And then some you can buy a 3-session package to go deeper into like your personal stuff as well. So there's many ways that you can go deeper.
Awesome. Love that. Love that. So no excuses, people. All right. So now in the second segment, we're going to talk about 3 things with Miranda. So I'm just going to ask you 3 questions. Just helps us get to know you a little bit better. So 1, how do you start and end the day?
For me, I have learned through human design, it's very important for me to have an intentional, quiet morning. So I start my day, celery juice, coffee, journaling, reading, meditation. So I always set the intention for my day because for me, I ground and then my entire day is a beautiful experience. I'm not running. So I know this from my chart is very important for me to ground and important for me to have an intention. So I always start the day slow.
Awesome. And how do you end the day?
How I end the day usually is relaxing and with my husband and like watching a show. So that's usually how I end my day. It's all about the start of the day for me.
I like that. I agree with you there. Second is, so if you have a goal, or if you don't call them goals, that's fine as well. But if you've set something, like somebody said last week, they were like, I set intentions that I spoke to. So have you set a goal or an intention for yourself this year? And would you mind sharing it with us?
That's very interesting with human design because I used to goal set. And I always achieved them. Like when I did my goals, I achieved them. It was like I had blinders on, focus. I was missing everything else though. So with my human design is waiting to respond. So as a generator type, it's about letting life unfold for you, not really having a plan and letting it come to me. So really, I'm responding. That's my goal. I'm responding to people reaching out to me. I'm responding to making connections, responding collaborations. I'm letting life unfold for me. So I know I will create, we already have created global impact, and I'm going to continue to do that by letting life unfold.
Awesome. I love that. And the last thing is, what do you do when you have a day off?
Oh my goodness. Well, okay, so I'm a generator type, so I love to work. When I'm inspired, I love to work. But I always love to connect with people, like podcasting and stuff. I love collaborations and connections. But I also love to go for walks. I live in Florida, so I love to be by the water. I also love hiking in mountains. I love reading. I just love to have no agenda on my day off and just see what feels good.
I like it. All right. Fantastic. Well, before I let you leave us, what are the top 3 things that you'd like the audience to take away from our discussion today?
The top 3 things. So number 1 is we all have our own energy types, and knowing that will help you love yourself more. Number 2 would be, if you think that something's wrong with you in a certain way, it's not. And the third is purpose is who you be, not what you do.
Awesome. I love that. And one last time, tell us your website where people can connect to you.
Miranda-Mitchell.com. That's where you can get the free chart and connect with me. Also, alignedlivingacademy.com is the certification.
Awesome. Fantastic. Well, this has been great. I have loved this conversation, even though technology tried to stop us, but we came back, and this definitely, you and I, guys, I'm just going to tell you, when we click out of here, I'm still going to be talking to her because there are a lot of nuggets that she just left for me, that things that I need follow-ups on, like right now. So, yay. Thank you so much. You always can come back and share with us in the future, Miranda.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Stay tuned, everyone. I'll be right back. Back to the Glow Up Girl podcast. I'm Kyra, and thanks again to Miranda for joining the show today. Technology tried to take us out, everybody. I mean, like, it was giving us a run for our money this morning, but we got that all squared away. So, so that we can have this awesome conversation. If you want to learn more about Miranda and her business, and you want to know how you can, discover your human design chart, make sure you head over to her website at miranda-mitchell.com. Go ahead, go over there, get your chart. Tell me about it. Send me an email. I would love to know what you discover once you take advantage of it. Again, it's free, so there's no reason why you shouldn't do it. Also, if you want to learn more about Glow Up Girl, visit us at glowupgirl.com. You can check out past podcast episodes. You can submit to be a guest on the show, grab our social links, and a lot more. As always, thank you all so much for taking time out of your day and joining me for another episode. I will see you all next week. So I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. And until next time, stay focused, fab, and glow up. Take care, everyone.